I am Jason Wiersema. This is Tankers Fantasy Football. We got some great buy or sell targets for you guys moving into week 10. But before we get started, you know how we do it here at Tankers Fantasy Football. Maybe you hook us up with a like, maybe you don't, maybe you throw us a subscription, maybe you don't, maybe you go fuck yourself. All right, we're going to read it off with some Devin Singletary for the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills might be finally coming to their senses out there. Singletary had his first 20-carry game of the season. It's actually his first game over 7 carries on the season. They ran Frank Gore's bum ass in on the goal line, just into that brick wall 3 straight times before they finally let Josh Allen sneak it in himself. But I mean, come on, Bills, you're 6-2. You're fighting for the wild card spot in the playoffs out there. Can we please stop running the ghost of Frank Gore into the back of the offensive lineman over and over again? I think it is time to unleash the beast of Devin Singletary. I'm looking at least 15 to 18 touches a week, I feel, for Devin Singletary for the rest of the season. So if you can go out there and still get him on the fairly cheap, I would look to do so. We got some David Johnson. This one's a little bit hits home for me. I got David Johnson in a keeper league. He grew up like 20 minutes away from me. You know, I love you, David, out there, but I'm feeling David Johnson's supposed to come back this week, and I think before he goes out there and it looks like he's sharing a lot of time with Kenyon Drake, and before he goes out there and possibly re-injures himself, I think it's time to see what we can get for David Johnson, because if he can still get middle range or back into RB1 return, I would go out there and try to get that done. I think we got another sell on our hands. We got Derrick Henry. And he's got 8 touchdowns on the year. Based on his yardage totals, you'd probably have closer to 5. I mean, you know, Derrick Henry's kind of always a guy that's kind of been living and dying off of his touchdowns. But Derrick Henry's only had 5 carries from inside the 5 this season. The Titans are ranked 7th worst in yards per drive, and they're just not moving the ball very well at all. They run the 4th fewest red zone plays in the NFL, have the Titans. And I know Derrick Henry went out there and looked absolutely dead. I had a buddy sitting next to me on the couch, keeps looking at his phone. Derrick Henry's carries aren't going up. He keeps asking me if Derrick Henry's hurt. I'm like, I don't know. Red Zone hasn't said anything. Roto World isn't really on that. I'm not seeing anything on Twitter about Derrick Henry getting hurt. And all of a sudden, Titans come to their senses, and all of a sudden they're feeding him the rock in the second half, and he gets a rushing and a receiving touchdown. But his target share is only like 7% on the season. I mean, you look at it, and he's got some pretty tough matchups in the fantasy playoffs as well versus the Texans and the Saints. If you can go out there and get RB1 value for Derrick Henry, I would absolutely look to do that. All right, got some Adrian Peterson. He's averaged over 95 yards rushing on nearly 19 attempts per game since Callahan has been the head coach for the Redskins. He's getting 80% of the team's rushing touches out there, but he has yet to find the end zone under Callahan, and Darius Geis is probably looking to come back as well. So I mean, I think I'm looking to move some Adrian Peterson. I know it's probably gonna be a little hard to move some Adrian Peterson, but if you can get back in RB2 or RB3 consideration for Adrian Peterson, I would definitely look to explore those options. We got another sell in Jamal Williams out there. Since he's returned from his concussion in week 4, he is the RB4. He's the RB4 in PPR leagues. That is absolutely insane. And he's only hit the 50% snap share once on the season. I mean, Williams has found the end zone almost every game since he's been back from his concussion. I don't know. I know you've been riding high on the Jamal Williams off the waiver wire for these last couple of weeks, but he's not really seeing that consistent target share as well. You know, if you see between 15 and 20% target share out there, I would maybe strap it on for some Jamal Williams as a high-end RB3 rest of the season. But I mean, he's down below that 10% target share in 2 of his last 4 contests. He kind of just luckily, saved his week last week, getting in that end zone. For some reason, his ass is out there doing a little dance when his team's getting their shit pushed in. So, I mean, that wouldn't sit well with me if I was the coach on that team. Like, what the fuck are you doing out there? We're getting our shit pushed in and you're out there doing a dance that you fucking rehearsed in the mirror the night before, get your shit together. All right, we got another Packer, but I think we're looking to buy this one. We're talking about Davante Adams. He returned, shit the bed. Everybody's talking a big return for Davante Adams. Went there and shit the bed. Only had the 41 receiving yards on the game, but he saw a 31.4% target share in that game, and he's only dipped below a 26.5 target share in the game, in a game that he's played only once. I mean, he surprisingly, this guy hasn't found the end zone. If you look at his yards compared to like yards per touchdown ratio, as most players are concerned, he should probably have at least 2 to 3 touchdowns on the season. He does not. So I think Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, he's always kind of been a touchdown guy. He's been double-digit touchdowns in every year for like the last 3 years, I believe. So I think the touchdown are looking to come. It's looking to get it sexy out there. Oh, it's going to get so sexy out there for Davante Adams. So if the guy in your league is still feeling down about his return only with the 41 yards, I would look to capitalize and get yourself some Davante Adams. Or we got some Hollywood Brown. Looking to buy him as well. His target share has never dipped below 17.9%. He was at 17.3% in this last game, but he was only out there for 51% of the Ravens snaps out there. I'm feeling, he looked just as spry as ever out there. I'm feeling it out there first, and he's got the Jets and the Browns during the fantasy football playoffs. So absolutely sexy deluxe matchups for Hollywood Brown in the fantasy playoffs. So if you are needing a flex play, a boom bust guy that can go out there and get it sexy for you any given week, I would go out there and target some Hollywood Brown. We got some DJ Chark. DJ Chark's kind of up there. He's overperforming in the touchdown category as far as his yards go. But I am a believer in the DJ Chark. He's seen over 23% of Jacksonville's targets this year, and he has hit 20% target share in 5 of the last 6 games. I think Nick Foles coming back is a good thing for DJ Chark. I mean, they still face the Bucks, the Falcons, and the Raiders, with 2 of those teams in the Raiders and the Falcons in weeks 15 and 16 in your fantasy playoffs. So all in on buy low on the DJ Chark. I think he turns it around. I think he continues to get it sexy for you moving forward. All right, we got ourselves another DJ with some DJ Moore. He's only found his ass in the end zone once this season, but if you just look at it, he's been heavily involved in the passing game. He's had over 24% target share. Has DJ Moore. He has 564 receiving yards, but he only has the 1 touchdown, so he should have he should have right around 3 touchdowns with that kind of yards production. I think the touchdowns are going to start coming for some DJ Moore, and I think that it's going to get real sexy for you moving forward. So if you can go out there and buy DJ Moore at his current low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3 value, I would probably look to do that as well. All right, one more buy out there. This one's a little more risky because we're talking about Mitchell Trubisky is in charge of this guy's fantasy value, but we're talking about Allen Robinson. He went out there. You had the sexy matchup. You were feeling it. First, that shitty Eagles secondary, and you were feeling it, and you woke up just covered in blood, semen, and urine, and you were just, what the fuck? 1 catch. First 6 yards out there, just went out there and absolutely just defecated all over the bed with every bodily fluid you can possibly imagine. But he still saw over 23% of Chicago's targets. He's hit 21% target share in every single game this season. The only other NFL wide receiver that can boast such a thing is Michael Thomas. So he does have good leverage in that category. I mean, his playoff schedule, fantasy playoffs, looking pretty decent. He's got the Packers and the Chiefs in the fantasy playoffs as well. So probably going to have to clang it and bang it. I know it's a risky thing to get behind, rely on a guy that's relying on Mitchell Trubisky, but I think Allen Robinson is also a good buy low for this week. All right, you like the cut of my jib? Give me a subscribe. Pound the piss out of that like button. You know I need to get those likes up, baby, to get this fucking videos, get my videos in the recommended section of future Tankers fantasy football listeners. All right, you got any trade questions? You got any waiver questions? You got any start sit 'em questions? put that down in the comment section below. I will get back to you. I always do. All right, boys. Holler at me.
I'm hot as fuck, bitch.